Welcome to Conversations with Neal Andrews.
Hi, and welcome to Conversations with Neal Andrews. We have today a very interesting program, I think. It's a follow-up to our discussion about Carnevale Ventura, and we're going to talk about the characters and costumes that you'll see at that event. We have Angel Jones, who's the event director, program director for the event. We have Robear Lamarche, who's a costume designer and mask designer, and we have Joe Rund. Joe is a local attorney, and each of these gentlemen are in costume for the event and will be representing characters at the event. So let's talk about the event again. Angel, tell me, give me a recap of what is this event going to be, when and where?
February 9th and 10th at the Mission Park, downtown Ventura. We'll have Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday 11 to 4 free in the park. Renaissance, let me clarify, Italian Renaissance Fair for you to enjoy, highlighting the good Borgias that we've brought to life size, highlighted after the Mr. Stewart figures that you'll find housed you run in the Ventura County Museum.
Yes. So the event now is the Renaissance Fair is truly a Renaissance Fair, Italian Renaissance Fair, in the park itself with vendors, food, entertainment,
Certainly.
and so forth. Then there's also going to be a masquerade ball. That's going to be on Saturday evening, right?
Yes, at the Clock Tower Inn, right next door to the park.
Okay. And then also the event goes on Sunday as well.
It does. And then we have I'm sorry, I just wanted to remind you that we do have a wonderful Mr. Stewart talk on Saturday as well, which is only on Saturday, and he'll talk in depth about about the Borgias.
Yeah, and he's so wonderfully entertaining, of course.
Yes.
I've seen many times when his monologues, and very informative. It's
Very much so.
Yes.
Very.
So these events are going to be an opportunity for people to come and not only get up close to the characters, but you'll actually be representing characters at the time in their interaction with the people, right? So tell me about the characters. First, Joe, your character.
This would be the father of the Borgia family. He was Alexander VI, a pope. And he was Spanish in heritage, but was elected to be the Bishop of Rome in the late 1400s.
Yeah.
And there's various takes on his history. Those who were involved, I think, in the Spanish and the French side of the papal court felt that he was a good pope. The Italians, of course, who did not have one of theirs voted in at that consistory where he was elected, view him less favorably. And there were family histories that added to that evaluation by the Italians.
There was a lot of negative propaganda. They were given a bad rap.
They were given a bad rap?
Yeah, they were not quite as bad as they've been made out.
Well, 600 years later, I still believed it. I believed the bad rap.
It makes for a good story.
Until I talked with Mr. Stewart, he said that was all put up.
Well, in those
Maybe
days,
not all of it.
you had to be ruthless to be a ruler.
A little bit, a little bit.
So the Pope was ruthless, and it was very much a world leader with the papal states and all of that.
And so now, Robert,
Yes.
what is your character?
Well, as I am right now, I'm just a Venetian nobleman, but the character that I play in the Carnevale is that of his son, Juan Borgia. The playboy, womanizer, golden child of the family. And so in that character, I wear a mask, a wig, my beard is red, I look totally different, and that's what I'm going to be. And there's also going to be my younger brother, Cesare, was going to be chasing me around with a sword trying to kill me because I had intercourse with his wife. So
The details.
details, yeah.
And we'll certainly have Lucrezia.
Oh, yes.
At the event.
Yes, and she will distribute her arsenic potions.
I was going to say, it's, and the little poison ring that, you know, that's the way she's always portrayed at any rate.
Yeah.
She has this ring that has poison in it that she can drop into your drink. It's,
Jennifer Ridgway, our Lucretia, she's very excited about putting her poison ring to demonstration, and of course an acting way.
Well, that's one of the ways how the Pope would build up his empire, is he would marry her off to this nobleman. The nobleman would die
mysteriously.
mysteriously and very quickly, soon after the nuptials, and then his domains would be brought into the papal estates. It worked. It worked, and then she would be married off to someone else.
I see. I see. And you did all this, huh? Interesting. Okay, well, let's talk about the costumes and how you make them and so forth.
I started making costumes years and years ago when I started to go to the Renaissance fairs, and because I felt that what I would find there did not really fit what I wanted to find, or was way too expensive. So I know my way around a sewing machine and how to design things, being a sculptor and all. So I started making that, and I've been building a reputation ever since. And a year and a half ago, this gentleman sends me an email. The Pope is a dear friend of mine. Says, oh, we have a project, would you be interested? Costume, Renaissance, blah, 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 blah. And I got the email on the Friday and didn't reply until the Monday. And I said, yeah, I could wrap my mind around that. And they all pounced like from 6 different directions on me. Oh, Robear can do this. And so I was shanghaied into recreating the costume of Juan Borgia as imagined by George Stewart, by Mr. George Stewart. And what an honor, because I had admired his figures, and particularly that one, and I was thinking to myself, oh, one day I would like to have the time and money to just devote and make myself this outfit. Well, lo and behold, they were financing the whole project, buying the materials, and say, Robear, you do this. So that's how it all started. And then we had to think about Lucrezia, and I collaborated a bit with Shelley Rogers, who did a wonderful job recreating the Lucrezia outfit. And then I did the Cesare outfit, and Shelley again and I collaborated on the Pope's outfit.
I see. I see.
And
you, is there you do some research, obviously, to
yes.
figure this out?
Well, Mr. Stewart had done wonderful research for us as far as showing us what was the garments that needed to be done. However, creating a garment for 16 to 18-inch figurine is totally different from creating working garments that people can wear and move in.
Right.
So there was lots of reverse engineering involved in doing that. But I like a good challenge, and so we did.
Oh, that sounds good.
Lots of late nights with pricking fingers and embroidery and.
Lucretia is all hand sewn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Shelley, that's 6 months of hand sewing on that. It's one of the most authentic pieces of the bunch. So.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
It is incredible.
Yeah. Now, the costumes themselves that you mentioned about making them so you can move in them and stuff like that.
Workable.
Workable. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I really don't understand the work that's involved with that. Tell me in a way that it makes sense to me how you do that.
Oh, okay.
Well, the most challenging was Lucretia, I think, of all of them getting to function.
Lucrezia and Juan. One Borgia has all these layers, and there's an under doublet, and there's an over doublet, and the jerkin, and the breeches, and it's a highly engineered piece of garment. But when you look at the figurine, the stole, it all looks good, but I mean, there's no zippers, there's no buttons.
He doesn't move.
And he doesn't move. He doesn't move. So, like for the, well, first of all, I had to go all the way to San Francisco to find the fabric for the shirt.
The orange.
The perfect orange, a blend of cotton and silk, and it had to be perfect. And then finding, like on the figurine, he uses gold lame. Well, you use gold lame full scale, it does not look good. It looks like a Vegas showgirl kind of thing. I wouldn't want to wear that. So I went and researched and found some silk, pure silk, Dupioni silk, with a golden collar. And that's probably what would have been worn at the time. And then it was augmented and ornamented with gold thread and gold embroidery and trim. To really make it pop out.
Again, all hand sewn on.
Yeah.
Again, yes.
There's a lot of difference between sewing
So to,
machine and
yeah,
hand.
to reinterpret something into a living working garment is quite an adventure.
Now, it seems that these costumes are probably fairly heavy.
Some are.
Some are.
Some are.
So this is why we're having Carnevale in the winter.
Yeah, I participate in the Renaissance fairs, which are in April and May, and sometimes it's 105 degrees, and you're there in your heavy velvets and brocades, and you just want to die.
Yes, yes.
This will be a cool fair in more ways than one.
Much more authentic in weather anyways, yes.
Joe, how did you get involved?
Well, I've known Mr. Stewart for a while and Mr. Becker as well, and we've been working on the Historical Figures Foundation as a way of generating more interest in the figures, more support for the figures, more publicity for the figures, and the discussion of possibly having an Italian masquerade ball and Renaissance fair kind of came up, and we kicked it around and thought about it and thought, well, let's see if there's an interest and if we can actually follow through with doing it, and then tie it in with the Borgia figures at the Museum of Ventura County. So that's pretty much the nexus of how that developed.
Wow. It's just amazing that you guys aren't getting paid for this, right?
No, it's all pro bono.
Yeah. Wow. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be just a tremendous event. Now, Angel, talk to me about the costume options that the public have if they wanted to come in costume.
Well,
you have your own shop, right?
I do. I own a costume rental shop, Winters and Warriors. We focus more on group and large parties. So if you had a family or wanted to come as a group, I could dress you. The individuals, though, I think, again, you can take after the designers here and create something of your own after the Italian Renaissance, which is an earlier Renaissance than what you typically see at the big fairs. So a little earlier on there. And then, so you may have to do a little research, but that's always good for you. And then, as well, we have many designers found on the website that you can get in contact with. They can still create things for you, as well as we have stores here, like Hearts Delight, that you can go and find stuff at. But you can always use the day as an excuse to come and find the clothing. Now, remember, we do offer the outlet of the Venetian Carnevale aspect of it. We kind of give you a little bit of a fantasy. So for all of you that may not quite want to do the Italian Renaissance, we have given you the outlet of the Venetian Carnevale, perhaps of the that you see so often with the white wigs and things of that nature. So there is that option, and I would highly suggest looking at our YouTube fashion show that we did at the Crown Plaza. That is a lovely 30-minute fashion show that highlights exactly what we're trying to, or well, what you will see coming up February 9th and 10th.
And that's on YouTube, you say?
Yes, you can find that through both our website as well as the Carnevale Ventura's Facebook page.
And the website is carnevaleventura.org?
It is.
Right. And we'll make sure that the audience gets that information on the screen.
And there will be costumes and elements of garments and masks and all the things at the Renaissance Fair. So if somebody wants to come in the afternoon, check out the little fair, purchase some items complete with what they have, and show up for the masquerade ball later in the evening.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, or they can call me.
Well, that's the other option, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, though
something custom made.
time is ticking.
Robert Lamarche, Emil Tackett, we have several local high-end designers such as this, that if you contact us now, we'll certainly be able to.
All right, so
set up.
they could just get through, going to the website, they could get somehow a way to contact you.
You can contact us right through the website, and we will direct you to all of the designers. Again, we have designers that cover it all as well, from every element to the high royalty to the lower class, if you prefer.
Well, let's take a moment for our audience to actually see these costumes. Why don't we stand up and get the camera rolling on it?
Well, this is Mr. Joe Rund, personifying Rodrigo Borgia, also known as Alexander VI, Pope of Rome. And what he's wearing here is what is basically casual Friday attire, what he would wear in his offices in the papal apartments. So you have a silk brocade cassock and a lace surplice, and then the capilla in red velvet and fur trim, and a petit chapeau, and his cross and gold chain and tassels and all of that. So he's quite the handsome Pope. And as for myself, what I'm wearing here is late 16th century Venetian style, in a silk brocade and the peony silk sleeves and beaded and lace, and I made it all myself. So that's what it looks like.
We had to take a little break there in order to bring Mr. Leroy Becker onto the set with me. Mr. Becker is the executive director for the Historical Figures Foundation, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about that foundation because it's in conjunction with the Carnevale Ventura. Now, the foundation's a 501c3, it's basically a charitable organization that people can contribute money to, and it's tax deductible and all that. And it's dedicated to the work with the figures. I mean, the preservation of the figures and the educational effort around the figures. But why did you do that? Why did you need to do that?
Well, I saw the figures in the museum, of course, where there are over 200 figures in the museum.
Right.
And I became intrigued with his art and workmanship. But then I was lucky enough to hear one of his monologues, which you have enjoyed also.
The George Stewart
monologues.
Yeah.
And that convinced me that we had a treasure right here in Ventura. And we needed to bring it to the public's attention, especially since it has the educational component to it.
But it's in the museum. It doesn't. I mean, the museum is protecting it and preserving it, and I would just presume they're promoting it as well.
They do a little bit of that. They have a number of collections and a lot of activities. They've really stepped up their activities. Mr. Stewart's collection is one of the 3 legs of the museum, according to the management. However, it takes the extra effort to take it outside of the museum.
I see.
And this is where we got Mr. Stewart's permission early on in the museum to build an archive of new digital photography of all of the historical figures. There are nearly 400 of them. And so we have excellent digital images now, some 20,000 images of the figures online. The first use of those figures was to build a website for the general public so that they could not just see images, but they could learn about the figures. So if you go to our website, every figure has its own pages, and you can learn a little about the figures and get a lot of resources.
Oh, I see.
To move forward.
You just mentioned there are 400. That's twice as many as actually are in the museum.
Yes, that's his total body of work is around 400, a little over 400 now. Another 100 are still in his private collection, and another 100 are among private owners around the world. In fact, some as far away as Paris.
So, and part of the reason then for this foundation is to document all those figures.
Exactly. Not only the figures, but how he builds them. We've documented how he sculpts the heads and how he makes the clothes, and the whole process has been documented in about 10 hours of videos.
He's a very meticulous artist.
Yes, indeed. There's nobody else in the world that does what he does, that's for sure.
Well, what are then the major projects that you have and that this foundation undertakes to promote these figures as well?
Well, in addition to the website, we also are undertaking the Carnevale Ventura to bring the historical aspects, combine the historical aspects, entertainment aspects to the public in Ventura County and Southern California. We've had other projects. For example, we do promote exhibits of the figures around the country. Last year we had a 5-month exhibit at the Clinton Presidential Library in Little Rock of the American figures. We've had other figures in Pasadena Historical Library and the Ojai Museum, Ojai Valley Museum, and in the museums as far away as Tucson and, like I say, Little Rock. There's a lot more of that to be done. The figures, while they're not fragile, they're not made out of marble or cast bronze. So as sculptures go, they're a little more delicate, and the exhibiting of them is a little trickier.
Now you obviously have a website, and you apparently do some information on that as well as in terms of not just the figures, but about the foundation and what have you.
Yes, it's called galleryhistoricalfigures.com. You can Google George Stewart, historical figures, and he pops up right on the first page. This over 250,000 people a year visit the website, and over 500,000 people have seen the video clips on the website that we have. So it's a very exciting website if you want to learn a little history quickly and enjoy his work.
Yeah, good. And now, how do you generate the funds that support this foundation?
Well, like a typical nonprofit, we're dependent to a great extent on membership. We have associates and full memberships, and there's a cadre of admirers of his that predate me even that have supported our endeavor. In addition to that, we do sell the DVDs, the instructional DVDs on Mr. Stewart, and also some of his monologues are now on DVD. We also have grants. The Smith Hobson Foundation, for example, recently gave us a grant to extend the video on the website.
And I understand that you have some needs that you're looking for, I guess, volunteers to help out with, or are these employment opportunities?
Well, yes, we have need for technical support of all kinds, people that have skills. We could use an accountant's skills for a while right now. We need video editors to produce more of his monologues. We have a lot of content, but there's a long distance between the content and finished product.
And you need a graphics designer as well.
Yeah, we need a graphics designer as well, yes.
Well, it's very interesting. How can, if people wanted to volunteer to do these things, or just assist in any way, how could they get involved?
Well, they contact me at info@galleryhistoricalfigures.com, which is our website. You can contact me through there, or I'm in the phone book.
Okay. And that, do you mind if I give out the number?
Not at all.
All right. The phone number is 641-3100, and that's an 805 area code. And if you want more information about Carnevale Ventura, you could call Angel Jones at 805-258-8694. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right.